everybody, Josh12 back here again with another video, and I'm here to give you my official review for Arrow Season 4, Episode 6, titled Lost Souls. Now, of course, if you haven't seen this episode, please go check it out because this review may contain spoilers. But that being said, let's get into tonight's episode of Arrow. Now, Lost Souls. Very misleading of a freaking title for this episode. I think what they should have called this episode was Relations, or fan service for you Aulicity fans, or just simply Aulicity. I think that would have been a far superior title because that's pretty much what they dedicated this entire episode towards. Now, based off that reaction, you might be thinking that, well, I'm guessing you didn't like this episode, sir. Well, at the end of the day, this is a very mixed bag for me because there was a lot of really cool, interesting moments in this episode. However, there were just a lot of very oddball kind of things going down. And they kind of it felt like this show in this particular episode was the most CW-esque episode of the season so far. We've seen some very CW-esque kind of things go down in a cheesy way. However, this episode was, like, extremely cheesy. Like, they just wanted to ram in the cheese for all the little mice out there to nibble on. And I was just not buying it. I personally really didn't like a lot of the cheesy moments in this episode. I felt like this episode, kind of similar to the Constantine episode we got last time, which was solely dedicated to the return of a specific character that we all really were fan favorites of. This was the same kind of opportunity. It was the return of Brandon Routh as Ray Palmer. We wanted to go on this mission, this story in this episode where, you know, Felicity finds out that Ray Palmer's alive, finds out that he's being held captive by Damien Darhk. Now, Team Green Arrow has to go out on the search all around Star City to try and find and rescue Ray Palmer from Damien Darhk. That's what this episode should have been about, and to a certain extent it is, but it's so shoehorned in there, and it's like, it's not even the main focus of the episode. The main focus is, why is Aulicity fans not happy? We need to make them happy. We need to focus on them because superhero moments don't matter in superhero TV shows. Get real here, folks. Let's fucking get real. This is a show not about superheroes. It's a show about romance and drama and fucking cheese for little mice to just take their little maze. Fuck that shit. I mean, come on. Someone out there has to somewhat agree with what I'm saying here. I mean, come on. This was the most, similar to last week's episode, Haunted, this was the most simplistic episode so far, but you had to just shoehorn it in and, like, really drag it out very unnecessarily and just completely shoehorn some more left field stuff about, you know, Felicity. She's super pissed off at Oliver, and then Oliver doesn't know what he's doing because he's a schmuck, and then you have freaking, you know, their relationship starting to drift into different little places, and then you have freaking Sarah, who's going all wackadoo, which is expected because she just got brought back to life. She was resurrected, so, you know, I'll give a free pass on that, but it was still kind of just dumb that she was a part of the episode as is. But regardless of any of that, then you have Thea, you know, starting a relationship with that campaign asshole. Who the hell knows what the hell that's going to go down? And now you got this whole weird Captain Lance relationship development with, you know, Felicity's mom or what have you. Like, why was this such a relationship status episode? Like, the title says Lost Souls. You know what? After seeing the teaser for next week's episode, you should have dedicated that title to that episode. I mean, it fits way more. Lost Souls, it kind of fits with, you know, Diggle's kind of situation. Not with, you know, the team not focusing on the simple fact that Ray Palmer is still alive after 6 months of thinking he was fucking dead. And, of course, trying to save him. No! Oliver has to, you know, deal with things with his own way in the most dumbass kind of manner. I mean, come on, really? You brought her mom into the situation? As a guy who freaking is watching this third hand, it's just, I get it, it's scripted, it's a TV show, it's CW, I get it, but come on, even for CW standards, they should be bitch-slapped in the face for trying to pull off some kind of schemy, scammy, weaselly kind of shit like that. I mean, I wanted to just drive or take a plane trip to fucking Canada and just find Stephen Amell. Where's Stephen Amell? So I can slap him in the face for doing that. I mean, come on. I know it's a character and it's a show and it's scripted. I get that, but really, you're having problems with Felicity. Felicity's dedicated to find Ray Palmer. She blames you to a certain extent because of how much of a schmuck you are. And in the best scenario you can come up with, the best solution is to schmuck up things more by bringing her mom. And plus, why the fuck did the writers have to bring back Felicity's mom? I mean, did anybody even like her when she had her appearance last season? I mean, granted, I've made this publicly clear, I'm not the biggest fan of Season 3 of Arrow. I think it's god-awful, and I'm pretty sure a lot of you can agree with me, with the exception of the hardcore Felicity fans out there. But did anybody really like her mom appearance from last season? I want to know. Like, legitimately, I want to know an honest answer. Did anybody give a shit about Felicity's fucking mom last season? I want to know. I really do. Because I really didn't give a shit about her. I felt like she was just a nuisance. She was basically like Jar Jar Binks, except like a female version. She just had no purpose. She was there to give somewhat hope for depth of Felicity's backstory because we don't really know a lot about it, and it was just treated poorly, and who gave a shit about her at the end of the day? And then they brought her back for this half-assed episode? Come on, don't give me that shit. You're smarter than this. You can do things better, CW. I mean, like, you've proven that before. But to shoehorn this stupid thing, it was very aggravating. But regardless of any of that, some more aggravating things that happened in this episode. The mission to steal certain scientific objects from Cord Industries. Number one, wink wink Easter egg to Cord Industries. Of course, the home and for the Blue Beetle, Ted Cord Blue Beetle. Very interesting stuff. I find it funny how CW continuously references Cord Industries. I'm just finding it hard and difficult to figure things out with that because I'm trying to think, like, Warner Brothers has plans for Blue Beetle. And there has been that rumor that's been circulating, that gigantic rumor that they are working on a team-up movie with him and Booster Gold. And, like, does that have any kind of, real standing? Or are they just, like, handing off the keys to that character to Greg Berlanti as he pleases? Like, I'm just wondering here. Like, I'm actually just legitimately speculating here. Like, I want to know, what are the overall master plans for the character of Blue Beetle? Because if you're going to continue to reference him, why not just show him already? And, of course, if Warner Brothers wants to do a movie with him, what's the plan with that? Like, where is he going to appear? Is he going to be a part of the DC Extended Universe? Or is he going to be part of the DC CW TV universe? These are just questions I really want to know. If anybody wants to speculate with me, please comment below. But overall, very interesting that they referenced him. However, the entire sequence that goes along with the Cord Industries reference was really god-awful. I mean, number one, all they had to do was go in and steal that piece of technology from Cord Industries to help find out the whole scenario, fixing the Ray Palmer problem. Let's just call it that, what it is. The solution to the Ray Palmer problem. Obviously, Curtis has his moments telling Felicity where they can find it, all that kind of crazy nonsense. But, like, this episode tried too hard to use every single member of Team Green Arrow. Was it technically necessary to have every single member of Green Arrow to do something? Like, even Curtis and Felicity team up to do some wacky stunt, which I still don't understand why it had a purpose, but regardless of any of that, shoving that aside, stealing some tech from an industry company. Why did you need entire Team Green Arrow to go and help you, Oliver? Number one, Diggle, why you have a gun? You're going in stealing shit, whatever. Then you have Sarah, and it's like, I love Katie Lotz, but she is obviously going crazy. And if the Thea problem has proven anything, is that you don't use people who have been previously resurrected in the last 24 fucking hours, dude. You just don't, because they're going to do wacky shit. And Sarah does a lot of wacky shit, which is obviously expected. We already knew that was coming. It's not like I hate that because they did it, or I love it. It's like, we knew it was coming. Obviously, spoilers, but Sarah does beat the living shit out of a security guard. I mean, like, mission, failed, in my opinion. I personally think, like, if there was, like, a superhero, like, police division to like take away the badges of superheroes, Team Green Arrow should be taken away, because seriously, they stole tech, they freaking broke into a freaking industry, and they stole stuff, and they beat the shit out of one guy who was he's just a working guy. You don't know, he's probably a family guy, he probably has kids, and he got the shit kicked out of him and almost died. Just because Oliver wants to bring his entire squad, his fucking death squad, all the way to fucking Cord Industries to steal something that he could have possibly done super easily by himself. Hell, you could have probably just called Barry and said, hey, can you like super speed your way into stuff and take this shit? Come on, dude. Like, really. I mean, like, granted, I understand they wanted this episode to be very teen-friendly. They wanted every single living person to be involved with the capturing of Ray Palmer, the rescuing of Ray Palmer, if you will. But was it really necessary for every step of the way to use everyone? Especially Sarah, when you know she's very unstable. She kills a guy, she beats the shit out of some hapless putz. You just don't do that, sir. You just don't. I mean, you know, she wanted to prove herself cool, but you must know that you had the foresight. You do have the foresight from Thea to not use her. But whatever, it is what it is. Sarah is gone, and of course it answers the big question that I personally had, that I kept asking everybody while I was watching the episode, which was, is it really necessary to care about Laurel anymore? Well, apparently you still have to, unfortunately. The depressing realization that you have to continuously watch Laurel as the Black Canary is a fact. It just is. Sarah is officially left. She's gone. She's going to go do her own things. Of course, not for good, because we already know she's going to come back for crossovers, and not to mention, the CW's Legends of Tomorrow. So we already know that she's coming back as the White Canary. However, as of right now, she has left Star City, Team Green Arrow, the whole shebang. She's gone. She's going all, Thelma and Louise. She's Thelma and Louise. She got the fuck out of there. She got the fuck out of Dodge. Let's just leave it at that. But after all this nonsense, after all the just horrible train wreck of nonsense that went through this episode, I will have to say one thing of positivity, or several things of positivity, if you will. Number one, Damien Darhk. Damien Darhk is such a badass. I wish they would just continue to use Neil in every single episode, in every single scene, because he's so good. He's just a great actor, and every time he has Oliver against the ropes, or against the chains, if you will, it's just up against the chains, if you will, but he's just so badass. He's so good and awesome and just interesting, and I just want to know more about his master plan. That's the cool thing, because we keep getting teasers and ideas of what his master plan is, but we don't know the logistics of it, and I just want to see more. Another great thing was Brandon Routh came back. He's finally officially back. Really awesome. I personally, Brandon Routh's performance as Ray Palmer / The Atom was one of my favorite parts of last season, amongst any. So it was really cool to see him back. I don't know if we're going to see him a lot this season just because he's back. I mean, as we've seen with Sarah, just because she's back doesn't mean she's going to be here every episode. However, it would be cool to see Brandon Routh hang out and have some sequences, maybe bro out with some Curtis stuff or some such shit. Just something in the vein of that. Another real cool thing, the fight sequences were pretty good. I mean, Season 4 hasn't really given us some really epic, badass fights that we Arrow fans deserve, in comparison to other fights we've seen in previous seasons. However, this episode was chock full of freaking epic fights. I mean, that one sequence when Thea, Laurel, and freaking Sarah are all fucking beating the shit out of those ghost characters in the freaking the hallway where Damien Darhk is having Brandon Routh's character held, in captivity and stuff. They have this really big boss battle with all those characters. Really awesome. I think it was very well shot. Cinematically, it looked great. It just was one of the best fights I've seen so far out of the season. And it was just really great. But overall, that's pretty much everything I can say that I really enjoyed from the episode. This was just an Allicity fan-based episode. That's all it really was. They should have just titled this episode Allicity, because that's what this episode was based for. And seeing as how I'm not really an Allicity fan, I like Oliver. I obviously really like Felicity, but them being together isn't really the greatest thing that could ever happen for the show or to me as a fan. It doesn't really do anything for me, so it doesn't really matter all the various drama that CW wants to, shoehorn into their relationship, nor is this whole, makeup sequences that they're trying to, put in with their relationship and all that kind of crazy stuff. But, however, it does kind of open up the options of speculation, because apparently Damien Darhk knows who Felicity Smoke is now. So that means he has an ace in the hole, which means that he can use that against Oliver / Team Green Arrow. So I don't know what the heck's like I said this in the beginning of the season. I did speculate that my big 3 characters that I think who could be in that grave by the end of the season could end up being Diggle, Lance, or Felicity. And after seeing this episode, I'm kind of heading a little bit more Felicity. I know the fucking Felicity fans are going to hate this shit, but come on, it kind of makes sense. I mean, she's the only one that's, completely open for a takeover. She's completely open to just being dominated by Damien Darhk. All he has to do is just, find her, go right up to her, just suck the life force out of her like he did that one dude. And that's pretty much it. It's game over for her. And on top of that, she knows he's coming, so I'm sure there's going to be some kind of a struggle there, but I'm just saying, I get the feeling that Felicity could end up being the person in the grave. After seeing this episode and knowing that Damien Darhk is aware of her and could possibly use that against Oliver by, capturing her or possibly killing her by taking away her life or some said shit with his mystical powers, shit could go down. But for me, I personally think she could end up being the person in the grave. Once again, Constantine is in this universe, so death doesn't really mean anything. However, Lazarus Pit is officially destroyed, so maybe death does mean something again, but I guess we're gonna have to find out by the end of the season. But overall, this episode was pretty much just average. I pretty much didn't enjoy it as much as I was hoping for, as much as I was going to hope I was going to like last week's episode. It was just, this show, writers are dedicating several aspects of, and I'm pretty sure it's CW's fault. I'm pretty sure they're just coming in and saying, we want more relationship drama. I'm pretty sure they're the ones who are shoehorning this stuff in, but I'm just saying, this episode, like last week, was very simplistic. All it had to tell was Felicity finds out Ray's alive, Team Green Arrow has to go find him and save him from Damien Darhk. That's it. Why'd you have to bring Felicity's mom and, shoehorn the Sarah stuff and then put in the freaking relationship statuses of Thea and, all this other bullshit, and then you have this fucking Captain Lance Felicity mom bullshit, and then, the Felicity fans are just going, going crazy because shit could be going down. Oh, the ending. Oh, God. For all the amount of cheese that went down in this episode, I'm surprised I'm not throwing up in my trash can. I mean, it's just insanity with the cheese with this episode. But regardless of any of that, my final verdict for this episode is a solid 5 out of 10. It was just an average episode. The only thing that really saves it is Brandon Routh's performance, the appearance of Damien Darhk, and pretty much the fight sequences. That's essentially the only thing that really saves this episode from being god-awful. But everything else was just bullshit. The Olicity shit was nonsense. The relationship squabbles were nonsense. And Felicity's mom, why did she have to be here? Please, someone, tell me why. Give me a legitimate reason why she needs to be a part of the show. I want to know. I mean, and don't give me that Captain Lance bullshit, because that's shoehorned in. But that being said, comment below. Let me know what you personally think about this episode. Let me know what did you love it? Did you hate it? Let me know in the comment section below. And of course, also let me know, what are your personal thoughts on the court industries? Do you think that will become a thing in the distant future? Also, what are your personal thoughts on Oliver and Felicity's relationship? Do you think she will be the one in the grave? And of course, where's Sarah going? Let me know your personal speculations on that. And of course, do you think we'll see the Hood in this universe? Spoilers, but if you haven't seen my review for The Flash Season 2, Episode 6, definitely go check that out, because Robert Queen is still alive, technically. So if you want to know that, go check out that review, or check out that episode, then come back and speculate about that nonsense over in the comment section about this episode. But that being said, Final verdict, 5 out of 10. That's my personal thought, my personal subjective opinion, if you will, and I want to know yours. But that being said, follow me on Twitter and Instagram, @Jock12. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already, and I hope you guys enjoyed, and this has been Jock12.